Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am yours truly, Coach Mike Dove, here with another edition of Lockdown Defense Sports Studio. And week one is upon us. That's right. We made it through the offseason. We made it through the preseason. We made it through training camp. We made it through all the reports. We made it through trades, blockbuster deals, holdouts, all of the above. And we're finally down to kickoff. Just a few hours away, actually, from week one officially kicking off with defending champion Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys, of course, in the NFC East. But if you're like me, the season doesn't really start until Sunday. And today we are going to break down the Commanders' week one matchup against the New York Giants. Listen, just to give you guys a heads up of what you can expect all year from us. Each guy will be breaking down different teams. With me, yours truly, I'll be breaking down the Commanders, different things to look for throughout the week, also reactions to the previous week. So you're going to get a chance to hear all that. And of course, get us ready for the upcoming matchup. So this week, of course, week one, I'm excited about it. I think everybody's excited about it. Football is finally back. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, of course, we have an early divisional matchup. I mentioned earlier, Thursday night, we kick off with the Eagles and the Cowboys. And then we turn around Sunday and we get the other half of the NFC East with the Commanders and the Giants. Now, this is a home game for us at Northwest Stadium, which is always a good thing. We're going against a tough opponent, though. The Giants on paper, everybody's looking at is possibly the lowest in the division. Not much to think about. I don't buy it. The Giants have made a lot of solid moves in the offseason, fixing their quarterback situation. Of course, addressing the defense in the draft, a defense that was already pretty good last year. And then this is year two for their superstar receiver and Malik Neighbor. So this is not a team that we're looking past. This is not a team that's going to be just a giveaway. The Commanders are favorites by 6.5. That's a lot. That's a lot, not only for a divisional opponent, but also a team, like I said, in the Giants that have really made a lot of strides. And in my opinion, got a lot better since last year. So, if you're a betting person, I definitely would say take the Giants to cover that 6.5 spread. That's kind of steep, like I said, especially even for a divisional game. And then week one, you don't really know what you're going to get week one. So, of course, it's just a prediction out there. But if you are a betting man or woman, I say take the Giants to cover that spread. We actually have the A team covering this game: Tom Brady and Aaron Andrews, and what would traditionally be the Fox America's Game of the Week crew, I guess you could say, will be at this game. That's good. That shows that we're going to have a lot of eyes on the Commanders, a lot of eyes on Jaden Daniels and that offense, as well as some of the new name faces on defense. It's 1 o'clock, so it's not prime time, but hey, listen, this is the same crew that carries America's Game of the Week. So I'm excited for the big stage, the week one stage. A lot of questions, a lot of things that we can get done and get the answer. Last year, if you remember, this was a pretty close matchup. Both games came pretty much down to the wire. The Giants' offense struggled outside of Malik Neighbors, and we'll talk about keys to victory and how we can stop that this year. But last year, Malik Neighbors was targeted a lot in both games. Actually, the first game last year, week two, I believe. And I don't even believe the Giants scored a touchdown. Maybe they scored one touchdown in that game, but they still kept it close. And we were able to pull out a close one. And then later on in the season, we were able to put out another close one. That's what scares me about divisional opponents. You never know what they expect. Of course, they have your number playing you twice a year. And if you think for 1 second that this Giant team wasn't built to combat Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury's offense, then you're sadly mistaken. With all the pass rushers, with all the uh, defensive minded things that have been happening on the Giants this offseason, and even trying to get some slingers at quarterback so that they can keep up point wise. They definitely are trying to keep pace with the top teams in the division. And I think the Giants are licking their chops to get back at this team for sweeping them last year. So looking forward to a great matchup, just setting the stage for what week one we can expect. I believe the weather should be clear, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Neither one of the teams really have a lot of injuries going on, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue either. So now we're going to jump into our X factors. Who is going to have a great game in order for us to win. And we'll talk about this every week, different X factors and why we find them to be X factors in their selected games. And I chose two people. First, Debo Samuel. Now, you're probably wondering, why do I have Debo Samuel in a San Francisco 49er uniform from years ago? And the reason is that's the Debo that we need to be an X factor this week. We need yak. We need yards at the catch. We need big plays without Jaden Daniels having to throw the ball 20 yards down the field because he might not have time to throw it down the field like he would in other games. We need somebody outside of Jaden Daniels, outside of Terry McLaurin to be able to make plays for us. This is why we made the trade for Debo for games like this. This is going to be a low scoring game. So we're going to need the playmakers to make plays. And what better playmaker than Debo Samuel? Get him the ball on screens, get him the ball on bubbles, quick plays, slants, whatever it takes. Get the ball out of Jaden Daniels' hands quick and let Debo do his thing. We need the Debo Samuel that went against Philly a few years ago and tore them up. All with passes under 5 yards and did his thing. That's what we're looking for. That can be an X factor for this game. This is obviously something that we were missing last year, and some tough thug it out games against the Giants. I really think that he can be that player to give us some big plays. And on the other side of things, on the offensive line, is our rookie right tackle. These are two guys that we didn't have last year, two guys that can play a major pivotal role in us winning this game this year. Josh Connolly's matched up against another big time rookie in Abdul Carter. So that's going to be a great matchup, one that we'll see for years to come. Big fella, show your work. Show your work and do your thing. You don't have to dominate. You don't have to, be a Pro Bowl in your first game, but just make sure you hold your own. Make sure you hold your own. Like I said, the game plan will probably be quick passing, trying to establish something in the run game as well. So just hold your own. Make sure that our guy doesn't get killed back there. And open up some lanes every now and then. We saw Josh Connolly be very versatile in college. I'm looking forward to seeing him do the same things here. Let's get a creative and get the big fella out there on some screens and some other things to possibly open up those big plays like I mentioned before. So Josh Connolly and Debo Samuel, two offensive guys, I think are going to have big games or solid games. Or I should rather say could be X factors and in us winning this game. So now we're going to go over to the keys to victory. All right, we talked about the X factors, talked about what's going to have to happen for them to win, what's going to have to happen for the team to win. So number one means staying on schedule. And the reason why I say that is because all the talk has been going around about the Giants defensive line, probably the best defensive line in the NFL. They got pass rush, they got run stoppers, they got interior, they got exterior, all across the board. That front seven looks stacked. So what you want to do, obviously, is stay out of third and long, second and long situations where they could turn these guys loose. We're going to have to stay on schedule. That means not taking any big sacks. That means no big losses. Making sure that we just take what they give us, the short passing game, try to get the run game established if we can. That's been something that, we struggled with consistency last season. Hopefully we can find a little bit of a rhythm with that this year. But overall, just get in rhythm, especially early in the game, especially talking about Jaden Daniels, who didn't play a lot in the preseason, especially talking about the receivers who were in and out of the lineup, either through holdouts with Terry or through injuries with Noah Brown, whatever the case is. We have to establish some type of chemistry on offense and keep things moving. Stay on schedule, stay out of third and long, stay out of second and long situations, because that's when the dogs get turned loose. And that's when you put your offensive lineman in a tough situation. And of course, you put Jaden Daniels in danger. We don't want him running for his life. We don't want him hanging back in the pockets doing 5-step drops and all these deep routes trying to develop just to get big plays. We want those big plays to happen on 2nd and 5. We want those big plays to happen on 3rd and 3 when, we're just eating them up. Also, you're controlling the clock when you do that. I'm from a coach mindset. I love playing defense and controlling the clock, but obviously offensively, we don't have to go big player or bust. We can take what they give us, stay on schedule, stay out of those third and longs. Same thing when it comes to turnovers. Let's not make it easy on the Giants. This is not the Giants offense from last year. I think Russell Wilson and the rest of that team, Brian Daboll, I think that they can capitalize off of mistakes. And in order to keep that from happening, we need to just do what we need to do. No turnovers, nothing dumb. Protect the football, no crazy fumbles. Jaden Daniels, not a big turnover guy in general, but we don't have to go big or go home. Stay on schedule. do what we need to do. Do not give them the game on foolish penalties. Of course, week one it could be a little sloppy. Hopefully, we don't see that. As far as penalties as well, I should have put penalties on here as well because you don't want to give them free yardage on holding calls, face masks, whatever the case is, pass interferences. Just little things like that. Let's not turn the ball over on offense. Let's not create dumb penalties on defense and offense. And once again, staying on schedule, not only in the play calling, not only in the production, but also as far as our decision making and just being smart football players. And finally, last but not least, special teams. Special teams is going to be key because I think this is going to be a very low scoring game. Of course, traditionally, week one offenses are searching for that rhythm. Defenses has the advantage when it comes to week one games, and I don't think this will be any different because of the tough defensive matchups. Questions at quarterback for the Giants. You never know what you're going to get from Russ. Questions about their run game. Let's capitalize off of that and score as many ways as possible. We get a chance to score on special teams. That could be the difference maker. Some guys on a kick return, some guys forcing a fumble down on kickoff, whatever the case is. The third element of the game can really set this team apart in close games like this, especially in divisional games. And early on in the season, if we can start stacking wins against teams like this, that'll be key. That'll be key because our schedule doesn't get any easier after this. So special teams, let's be the playmakers, let's be the game changers, and let's take this thing home. So these are my keys to victory. These are my guys to watch. I love this matchup from a fan's perspective. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a great game. Interested to see what happens with the Giants this year, and of course our Commanders. Let me know in the comments. What do you think is going to happen week one? Who do you think is going to win? Who are your X factors, and what do you think are going to be the keys to victories for your respective teams? So, as always, tune in, comment, like, share. We look forward to being with you all season long. This is just week one, and I'm yours truly, Coach Mike Dub.